Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Carly P. Riley Show. We got a quick show for you today talking about the fact that the lawyers who sued Elon Musk over his $56 billion pay package and won, those lawyers are now requesting $5.6 billion themselves as compensation for winning this lawsuit. In case you didn't follow it, we did cover this back around the time when it happened, but Elon Musk had been granted a radical, sort of never before seen pay package structure back in 2018 for his role as the CEO of Tesla. And as part of that pay package, he would get paid nothing. He was guaranteed no money. However, if he hit some crazy milestones, if he made the value of Tesla crazy, $650 billion was the upper end of this, which he hit. If he achieved that, and from a market cap perspective, and then there were other operational metrics put in, he would get additional shares of Tesla, which at various points have been worth around $56 billion. So it's been called like the $56 billion pay package. Now that deal was wild for many reasons, but a shareholder, I believe somebody with like 5-10 shares of Tesla stock, not very many, a shareholder named Richard Tornetta, sued Elon Musk over this pay package, arguing it was excessive and that the board hadn't done their fiduciary duties in granting him this pay package. Now, a judge in Delaware, Kathleen McCormick, ruled in favor of Richard Tornetta. She agreed, and there were a whole bunch of series of decisions that she had to come to in order to agree, but basically agreed that this pay package was excessive and that Elon would be required to give back the Tesla shares that he had been awarded as part of this deal. Typically, in a judgment like this, the lawyers on the winning side of the case would get some percentage of the judgment. So that's even often as high as like 25-30% is pretty typical. So you could argue the judgment in this case, which they clearly are, is $56 billion. So obviously this is an outlier sum of money, but these lawyers are asking for essentially 10% of the judgment. $5.6 billion is what they're asking for their compensation, which is about 10% of the $56 billion that they, in their minds, I suppose, saved Tesla in dollar terms. So that is the argument for why this isn't like just a completely crazy ask. But I think intuitively, emotionally, for so many of us, this feels crazy. To think that Elon Musk, who has run Tesla for 2 decades now, who has done, in some ways, the unimaginable with this company, who grew it to have, at one point, a $1 trillion market cap, though it's of course down from that now, should get nothing. But these attorneys who have done nothing for Tesla, again, they would argue they've saved Tesla money, which sure, sort of, I suppose, right? They should get $5.6 billion. Now, what's so interesting about this to me is that to add insult to injury, the attorneys have asked to be paid almost entirely in Tesla stock, which, as the Wall Street Journal reports, is a rare request from lawyers on the winning side of a verdict. So they've asked for about $1 million to cover their expenses, and then the rest of the compensation they want to come from Tesla stock, which the irony of wanting to continue to benefit from the gains of Elon Musk by holding shares of the company that he runs after having fought him on his compensation for doing that job previously. I get it. I'm not saying there's cognitive dissonance here because I understand the argument, but it feels shitty. It feels so shitty. Now, Elon, of course, weighed in on this. He tweeted, "The lawyers who did nothing but damage Tesla want $6 billion. Criminal." And ultimately, it will be down to the same judge who made the ruling in this case, Judge Kathleen McCormick in Delaware. She will determine what the lawyers in this case will get paid. It seems like it almost certainly won't be the $5.6 billion. That's a bit of a starting point. But she'll have to determine what was them bringing this case, what was them getting these shares back from Elon for Tesla, what was that worth, and what percentage of that pie should be given to these lawyers. Personally, I hate that this is how the system is working in general. I think these lawyers can be paid a few $1 million and like call it a day, but that is not the system we live in. So we will see where it goes from here. Now, in other news updates in Elon world, we covered a couple weeks ago the fact that Neuralink, one of Elon Musk's many companies, had implanted its first chip into a human brain. This is all a part of Elon's long-term play to like turn humans into humanoids, part man, part machine, so that we can better stave off the AI apocalypse. Though in the short term with Neuralink, Elon's hopes are to cure certain diseases like ALS to help people who have brain and muscular issues. At the time, all we knew was that the chip had been implanted and that the patient, the first human patient who had taken this chip, that they were recovering. We have a little bit more information now. We know that they are stable. They seem to have recovered. They are stable. No complications from this as far as has been reported, and that they are able to successfully control a mouse, a computer mouse, with their brain. Now, I talked about this a little bit in that last episode. This is not particularly revelatory, the fact that this person can control a mouse with their brain. This is something that we've been able to do for really like 2 decades now to a degree. But the type of chip that Neuralink is building is unique. And is more ambitious than any we've seen come before it. So this is just the early phases of it. If this works, they're going to start trying to ramp up what they can do with this chip, and the potential for what the Neuralink chip can do compared to what many of the competitors can do is higher. The ceiling is much higher there. Now, whether or not they'll pull it off, who knows, but that's what they are hoping for. That is our show for today. Just some updates. We take these times to kind of look at these different stories. I like to make sure we're keeping up with them. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please consider subscribing to the channel, commenting below, like all of the above, and I will see you next time.